So what's up, YouTube and podcast family? I thought I'd get on here today and announce something new. There's been a project that I guess I've really been working on since 2017, knowingly or unknowingly. In 2017, I started the podcast, This JW Life. And since that time, tens and tens and tens of thousands of people have downloaded and listened to that podcast. And over time, it's certainly made an impact. That is my story told in a 9-part series. That is the prelude to Shunned, which most of you, well, which I guess all of you are watching or listening to right now. So this JW Life is still out there. For a time, it was even on YouTube until I guess it was on YouTube for years, but at some point, there was a trademark claim made. YouTube would never tell me what that was about. They're really good at giving you no information and just taking your channel down, which is really sweet. And so anyway, they took the channel down, said that it was a trademark violation. The only thing that I can figure is that the letters J and W together are trademarked by the cult, right? By Jehovah's Witnesses. Watchtower owns trademarks on certain things, but they can't own everything. So I guess it was them. I don't know who, but someone lodged a trademark complaint and this JW Life was taken down. It is still out there though, as a podcast and all the various podcast platforms, Spotify, all the places. Anyway, so this JW Life wasn't the name that I was going to continue using down the road as I started developing it into other things. And so today I'm announcing that this JW Life has been turned into a book. And that book is entitled Becoming Jehovah. I think that Jehovah's Witnesses will like that title even better than this JW Life. And also there's kind of, the double entendre there. When you become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, right, you become a Jehovah. That's how people see it sometimes. That's the terminology or the verbiage that people will use. But in the book, which is this JW Life written in a different format, and I'll explain that in a minute, I also do talk about what it's like to become Jehovah in a way that maybe people haven't always thought about. And in a way that I think that really anybody who's leaving the cult can find. In fact, I think it's very important that you too become Jehovah in a way. So I'll leave that there. No spoilers. So what I did is, again, this has been, I started this JW Life in 2017, but a couple years ago, a gentleman approached me because he wanted to take this JW Life and to translate it into Spanish. He wanted to make this available to, besides, was it English, Spanish, and French, I think, are the top 3 languages spoken in the world. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's what it was last time I looked. And so to be able to have it in English and Spanish is huge. So in order to create a Spanish version of this JW Life, there were certain things that had to happen. One of those was that I needed an accurate transcript of it in English to give to somebody else so that they could read it in Spanish. And I had one that was done digitally through a service online, I guess using AI or whatever. And so I used that at first. We went through it. It was not good. It didn't understand a lot of the verbiage that I used. I'm sure it didn't understand a lot of the ways that I speak from the Midwest or somewhat southern portion of the United States. I'm sure I slur words at times or have a certain accent or whatever the case may be. And anyway, it was kind of hot garbage in a way. So, oh boy. So my wife went through it first and kind of cleaned up a lot of the misspellings and such. And that took a long time. I don't know how long, but it could have been a year or more. And then I had to go through it all and take what she had corrected and then make it sound like a book, right? The way I speak, the way I sometimes go off on tangents or things are out of order or I go backwards or I repeat myself or whatever the case may be, or use word whiskers. I had to go through and take the entirety of this JW life and that somewhat corrected transcript and then make it sound like somebody sat down and wrote that as a book. And that took, that took so long. And as I would do it, I would go one episode at a time. Then I would send that new version, well, I'll put in air quotes, perfected English version over to the other gentleman. And he would take it, translate it into Spanish, do the recording in Spanish with his voice, and then send me the recording. And then I would take that recording and adjust the levels, edit the audio to some degree, add an intro and an outro. And then I publish it through my account, through my audio host, so that it would hit the various platforms. I also took it, added a static image to it, and uploaded it to YouTube. And so it is out there currently as the podcast and the YouTube channel. I'll say it the best I can. Esta vida como testigo de Jehovah. And so that is how it is today. So there's the This JW Life English version, and the Esta vida como testigo de Jehovah is the Spanish version of the podcast. And it's out there on YouTube as well. So then, once we had made it through all of the episodes, and I can't tell you, I mean, it's so cool to go to the Spanish version, for me at least, and to translate all of the comments and to see all the people that have been impacted by it in Spanish. It's just really cool. All these people throughout South America and other places as well, Mexico, Spain, whatever. Just all these different people who speak Spanish, who have written just beautiful messages. And then, of course, you've got the Jehovah's Witnesses that come in and say dumb things. But whatever, it is what it is. And so it's just really, it's been quite an experience. So I wanted to take it and put it out there in written form. Not everybody's a podcast person. Not everybody's a YouTube person. Some people prefer the written word. And so I now was sitting with two versions, one in English, one in Spanish. And so I created a website. It's at becomingjehovah.com. Again, that's becomingjehovah.com. You can go to this website. I've got it pulled up right here if you're watching on YouTube. And this is an online version of my book. And it is freely available to anyone who wants to read it in English or Spanish, whatever the case may be. A lot of work went into this as well. Eventually, there may be a physical book. I know I've had people who are like, oh man, is this a physical book? I want to buy one. And at some point, that may come to fruition. That is, learning publishing is another thing. And I'll probably self-publish it on Amazon and offer it as inexpensively as I can, because I never started this JW life as something that I was trying to make money on. Not that there's anything wrong with making money on a book or on all of this work that has gone into this. I mean, certainly, time is money. I get that. But I wanted to make this freely available as much as possible. I made this JW Life because I wanted to help. And here you go. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'll just take you through a very quick tour of the website so that you can see what it looks like. So here we are on the homepage. Of course, the little blurb at the top, Becoming Jehovah, an 8-year-old boy is dragged into the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses by his parents. That's kind of my story. So we've got the quote at the top, isn't a watchtower what they use to keep people from escaping a prison? That was something that one of our clients that we used to clean for asked me one day during a very frank discussion when we were waking up from the cult. And I will never, ever forget that. So I'm happy that I get to share that today. As we scroll down, you'll see the book cover featuring a picture of yours truly as a child, standing in my childhood kitchen, wearing the attire of my little JW self. And that little guy comes with me everywhere I go. He is me and I am him. So I was really glad to have that picture that I could share as part of it. So the title, Becoming Jehovah. And, we just have a little bit of a description of it and how to use the website. You'll notice that at the bottom, I have a direct link to This JW Life. So again, if people find it for the first time as a book, and maybe they're like me and they don't really read physical books so much, which again came into me creating one. Good Lord, was that a slog? Because with ADHD, I am an audiobook person. I am not a written word person. And so to sit down and go through that over and over was a lot. But we've got This JW Life here, so people can click that and listen to it if they want on the player at the bottom. Scroll back to the top. We've got a menu here. The menu, you can click on Becoming Jehovah English Edition. And I won't even try to say the name of that in Espanol. There's also, of course, a basic contact page. There's a little drop down to the right of the English and Spanish editions. Click that and the menu expands and you can see all of the different chapters. If you're not a person that realizes you can click that, that's okay too. If you just click on the English edition or the Spanish edition itself, when you click on that, it will take you to a page that I've created with, again, links to all of the various chapters. We'll pick this one. So as you pick the chapters, you'll see that you've got the title for that chapter. There are some subheadings because this is very long and I wanted to, each of those episodes was very long. And so I wanted to help you have places, little landing places to stop if you wanted to. And so that you could write down where you stopped, you could go back and continue again. It's not easy to make a website into a book version, or at least not with my limited skills. So I did the best that I could. So anyway, there's even a search function here at the top if you want to search for something in particular. But Becoming Jehovah is my book. It is now out. It is freely available. It is public. It's on the World Wide Web, so anyone can access it from anywhere that they want, and they can read it. In This JW Life, I talked about many resources, different books that helped me along the way. Of course, books that I read in audio format. But it's all right there. People can go. I hope that they find it helpful. Over time, when there is a physical book released officially, I'll let everybody know if anyone does want one. I may even work on, maybe I can get it as a Kindle version or something. But I just know that there's a lot of technical aspects to all of that, and the binding and the layout, the format, all the stuff. And that's a whole other project. So for now, this is where it lies. I hope that people will find it helpful. I hope that people will share it and spread the love. Again, it's a free book. So, copy the link, post it in groups, share it to people. I shared it on the ex-JW Reddit, but I'm sure only a handful of people saw that. So, over time, feel free to share. And I hope it touches more people's lives because that's why I did this in the first place. And it's been a lot of work, but it's been a pleasure to put all of this together. It's been amazing. I'm not saying the person's name who helped in Spanish because that's, the healthy boundaries set there, and there are reasons behind all of that. So not trying to shut that person out. They know who they are, and if they ever want to be public, that's on them. And I'll be happy to add their name anywhere. But, just a beautiful person who helped me with what I think or hope is a beautiful project and that a lot of people have appreciated already. So as I've always ended all of this stuff, I guess going all the way back to This JW Life, love yourself and others, do no harm, go be happy, and maybe go read a book, or at least share it with somebody you love.